Alright, so Lunar Client has just released a brand new feature which they're showcasing as something that can 5x your FPS, and we're going to be trying it out today. I also just wanted to tell you about it if you guys didn't know. They launched this feature called Turbo Entities some weeks back, and I haven't seen a lot of talk about it yet, but they're saying it's a new performance option that greatly improves overall FPS and FPS stability when rendering entities. Now, if you guys haven't seen in my previous videos, I play on 1.8, but this change is something for 1.17 and above. I know, crazy, but honestly 1.17 and above, those are the versions where things start to really matter, because entities are used everywhere comparatively to 1.8 where they're not used as much. Like for example, let's take a server like MCC Island. That Minecraft server is completely filled to the brim with, entities, and those entities are just retextured to look like maybe a bench or, anything really. Anything you see that isn't a Minecraft item that they're just having over there that looks like something that isn't from Minecraft is because they, rendered a different entity. So yeah, today we're going to be testing out this new feature, I guess. It's a little different video, we're going to be in game, we're going to be out there, trying this out. And yeah, let's pass it to me in the future and see how much of an impact this feature has. Alright guys, so we are here on Lunar Client on Minecraft version 1.21.1, and we're going to be testing out this Turbo Entities feature the same way that Lunar did. So basically in their website, they showed a little gif of someone like 5xing their FPS with this, and the way they did this is they made a little single player world. I guess it was a void world with a lot of entities just right in front of the player to kind of test the FPS, and I made a little recreation of that, not the exact same thing, but something that should kind of align with what they made. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going down here to the Lunar settings, and I'm going to be going up here now to the mods. Now this Turbo Entities feature is not a mod, so you're not going to be finding it here. You have to actually go to your settings and then click performance, and this is already going to be enabled by default, so don't worry if you want to turn it on. But if you do want to turn it off, it's right here under performance, turbo options. It's nice and easy to find right at the top of this little section. And yeah, as you can see, I haven't really changed my Lunar Client settings. I just have my normal recording settings on, and if anything, the only thing I have changed is my OBS settings. I made them a little lower just to make sure that I can get the highest FPS both with and without this feature. So the first thing I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be turning off this whole Turbo Entity mode, and we're going to be comparing the FPS with and without it. So I made a little single player world, which I'm going to load in right here, as you guys can see, which is just kind of a recreation of how Lunar basically tested this whole same thing. They made a world like this, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to stand still, and we're going to give it like 5-10 seconds for my FPS to stabilize, and we're going to be looking at around where it's sitting, which should be right about now. So you guys can see that my FPS is sitting at around 460 to 500 at best, most likely, and honestly that's pretty solid because I do have a decent computer. I have a 4070 and I have an i5 10th gen, so honestly not the worst computer. And I think for Lunar I have allocated around 4 gigs of memory. So yeah, we just peaked at like 500 FPS, and we had a lowest of around like a little under 400, I think. So now I'm going to be going here onto the settings, and I'm going to be enabling Turbo Entity mode, and I want you guys to notice this. Okay, so now I'm just going to let this stabilize, and you can instantly see that my FPS is up to 6, maybe even 700. I've seen it go a bit over 700 a few times, but yeah, this is just from standing still. You can see there's clear improvement in this, which is honestly pretty crazy. I did not expect this to be something that would happen. I can imagine that the example Lunar showed was from someone who maybe had a laptop or a computer that wasn't that good compared to mine. Obviously, no harm in having a pretty decent or mid-range build for a computer. I myself don't think mine is that good, so obviously there's a lot of things you can do to optimize your frames in Lunar and stuff like that, but this one setting seems to do a lot for it. As you can see, I mean, my FPS plus 200 around there, so that's pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pass it back to my other self. As you can see, when I move around, the FPS gets a little more shaky. I think I also have motion blur on, so that would definitely add up. But yeah, overall there's clear improvement. That's the important thing to note. So I mean, there's no harm in enabling this feature. I don't think it's using that much more of your memory and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, W on Lunar for that. I'll be passing it back to myself and giving my kind of final verdict and thoughts on this whole thing. and yeah, I'm gonna be back right about now. So yeah, I mean, honestly, this is a very solid result to this experiment. I did not expect this to go as well as it did. A 100 to 200 FPS boost on a computer like mine, you know, 4070 i5 is actually pretty solid. I can only imagine that it gets better the worse the computer you have. So assuming you have like a low mid-tier end computer or laptop, I'm pretty sure that this is gonna help a lot with the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, very good change on Lunar's end. Again, this is not an ad, so I don't want y'all to be saying that. Okay, I'm tired of those comments. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, if there's a Forge mod for this, Forge players are also gonna be coming at me. Okay, like, oh, you could do this in Forge like 10 years ago. Okay, I get it, bruh. But you know, y'all read too deep. Okay, it's just Minecraft, and you know, Minecraft clients are easy to access, and there's a community behind them as well. So yeah, I mean, all I gotta say is really like, it doesn't really matter what client you're using. I mean, it's just about the experience, I guess. If you enjoy the experience, then you're good to go. Same thing with Forge. So yeah, I mean, honestly, good job on Lunar Client's end. I'm probably not going to be using this feature because I don't play on newer versions, but if you do, be sure to let me know what type of increase you guys get. I really will. I'm actually curious. Okay, I want to see the comments. If this didn't work as good for you, comment that. If it worked better for you, comment that as well. I'm just really curious to see, because you know, I couldn't experiment perfectly with only my computer, and I guess Lunar could experiment with more people, which is how they got that 5x boost for someone. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. I've been Alex. Thank y'all so much for watching, and yeah, I love y'all, and see ya.